Good morning, students. So let's begin another day with the news today. What is important? What are the current events? As you know, in IAS exams, when we appeared in 1982 and 1981, and got top position in IAS, we used to study these editorials of all the top newspapers, the Hindu, the Times of India, and the Indian Express. So let's see. First of all, let me tell you about the Unacademy. Now, as you know, the Unacademy learning app, the Unacademy is the largest platform, online platform in the country, and it is the best for IAS and civil services and allied services. So if you are looking for success for IAS, the top educators there are very experienced, and we retired IAS officers are guiding you. So we have these structured batches with top educators, batches in Hindi, in English, and bilingual, late night, as well as 2-year batches, 100% syllabus coverage, vast range of optionals, prelims test series with evaluation, and main test series with evaluation, dedicated doubt clearing classes, daily current affairs practice, essay and answer writing practice. As you know, the essay and answer writing practice is very important, because the way you write on the paper, the way the copy, the power of expression, the boldness and the flowery language, even if you have replied properly, but the power of expression is very important. And therefore, so if you want to get success in IAS and IPS, foreign service and civil services, then Unacademy is the best online platform, and is the largest platform. And I have seen so many top people, specialists in the field, they are teaching this. And now if we go to the next slide, now we have live class environment, live polls and leaderboard, live doubt solving, live interaction. IAS and foreign service is not a 1 month job. It's it has a 1 year at least is necessary, and therefore if you have this 24-month subscription or 36-month subscription, and if you are starting early, for example, if you are in final year of graduation, or just you have, so you can join early. So this is, and if you go to the next slide, there is personal coach and live class environment and live poll leaderboard, live doubt solving, live interaction. And this, if you want to apply, get some concession discount, apply code VCS10 and subscribe now and get 10% off. And therefore, if you apply for 6 months and 12 months, so you get more of benefits if you apply for 2 years or 3 years. And if you compare some of the other coaching institutes in Delhi, and they are charging 1.5 lakhs and 2 lakhs, and they are not that that good. So let's say, and to unlock the plus experience for free and start learning from the best, we have free special classes, free test series, free live quizzes, and the most competitive gamified UPSC civil service exam battle is here. It is like a war. You have to study at least 10-12 hours a day, and compete with thousands of learners in India's biggest fortnightly competition for. So this is also a competition is also being organized. Unacademy Combat, compete with thousands of learners, as a practice in the India's biggest fortnightly competition for UPSC civil service examination, and it starts on December 6th, 2020. Time 11 a.m. So kindly explore the combat experience, and therefore let's go to the next slide today. And we have this T20 daily current affairs, test series. Free test series also there. So let's crack it. So once again, let me repeat. Unacademy is the largest online platform, and the best. Every some of the educators are master class. They have 1,000,000 minutes views on this thing. So and it is in both English, Hindi, other languages also, and therefore. And as you know, I was a successful IAS officer. I topped the IITs and then went to IIM Ahmedabad and then went to America. And so we people are guiding you how to plan your examination. And let's go to the Times of India today. So Times of India is one of the good papers here, and one of the editorial is by Ajay Srivastava. He is a writer. This writer is on the Indian Trade Service Officer, and he says that a 9-step framework for making India a great investment destination. And as because of the COVID and all that, and now countries are trying to move out of China. So India, what's 9 steps? This is a very good article. FDI receipts of more than 250 billion in the last 5 years prove global firms' faith in India's story now. And so what 9 steps he has? First of all, he wants us to identify sectors for priority treatment. And the most product groups identified for support under the production linked incentive schemes are part of the list. What is PLI, the production linked incentive scheme that is offered by the government of India? 1,50,000 crores of subsidies are available, and Modi ji's government has have done the largest corporate tax cut in the history. Now if a new firms come up, then the tax rate is lower, and for the existing firms also the taxation rate. So therefore lot of scope. And so now we have the second item here makes is that recognize the sectoral concerns and invite top global firms to become anchor manufacturers in priority sector. The way, for example, we invited the Suzuki and Maruti, so the auto industry, so many industries have come up, and today the automobile sector constitutes half of the manufacturing GDP. And so we need a repeat of the Maruti story for few other sectors. And number 4 is develop effective coordination with lead investors. And number 5 is provide ready to manufacture space. Delay in buying and approvals drives away investors. China and many other countries and hundreds of operations, they had so many of special economic zones ready. And therefore we must also, already we have about 425 special economic zones, and we export about $60 billion of export from those areas, but we still need more. And the 6th point is ensure quick factory to ship movement. That some of the ports are not modern, and ships have to stay wait for 2-3 days. Imagine in these Asian countries and European countries, it is all it is all mechanized and there is no delay. So this we have to improve. And 7, review the import duty structure. This is also regarding the free trade agreements. And 8th is ensure predictability, reduce arbitrariness in policy regimes. And 9, set up systems for quick resolution of disputes. So therefore this is a very good article, and if there is a question in IAS how to revive the Indian economy, it is a अपने आप एक बना हुआ एक आर्टिकल है. So you should cut it out and paste on a piece of register, and later on when you need it. So this is a very good article by. And if we move to another one, the farm reforms cannot be rolled back, but center needs mitigative anxieties. Farmers, mainly from northwest India, continue to blockade Delhi for the fifth day. Now you see so many farmers are converging to Delhi, and I was seeing, the enforcement, they are spraying water and these conditions of cold. और फार्मर्स एंड सोल्जर्स तो आपने देखिए, जय जवान और जय किसान अपने कंट्री की प्राइड हैं, और इफ़ दे हैव समथिंग टू से then of course we must hear. And the central government also, while enacting these 3 farm bills, should have taken these states into confidence. But that being so, let's know that these bills are very, they have removed the farmers, the poor farmers, from the clutches of the middlemen and APMCs. And Punjab government, mostly the farmers are from Punjab, and the APMCs have lost 3,500 crores of revenue. That is the same as, it is the government of Punjab has also lost, because ACMCs are a part of the government. And the middlemen also, they used to have lot of cut, and used to make profits at the expense of farmers. So if you buy, let's say in Jaipur, if you buy bhindi from the farmers at 25 rupees a kg, and then these middlemen make a profit of 50 rupees a kg, and then the supply chains, and in the market it is selling at 100 rupees a kg. So imagine if the farmer has direct contract farming with the multinationals exporters, and these top multinationals exporters, food processing, will infuse technology and invest. Already the farmers are poor. So these bills, they have the capacity to make India as the food capital of the world, major food exporter, supplier to the world. But there was a slight lacuna. We should have consulted these state governments, because agriculture is basically a state subject, and therefore now with the present government, already people are saying that we have this parliamentary system of government, or are we having the presidential system of government, because the PMO and the Prime Minister office and Modi ji, they are running the country. So we should, and PMO, who is the person? Dr. Mr. Mishra, he was an IAS officer. Now imagine IAS officers, if you are selected, you can be the top of the. Mr. Mishra is the principal secretary to Modi ji, and he is more powerful than any of the cabinet ministers, any of the chief ministers. Mr. Ajay Dobhal is the national security advisor, and he was from the IPS. And Mr. Chandrasekhar is from the foreign service. Imagine, he is the external affairs minister. So how far and high you can go? Some of the state governors are, recently the J&K governor, Mr. Murmu, was from Odisha, a tribal officer who got Gujarat cadre. And when Modi ji became CM, he was picked up. And therefore, Mr. P.K. Mishra also, he was from Odisha, And once he was telling me, when he was Secretary Agriculture, during we were having tea, and he told me that when he got Gujarat cadre, they were very unhappy, because from Odisha, Gujarat was very far, but then he started serving in Gujarat in a nice way, and therefore and then when Modi ji became CM, then he asked for some good officer, and then he said Mr. P.K. Mishra, and then he was the principal secretary there. So imagine how far you can go. Now if you see this, let's go to the second slide. The Hindu. There is a very good article by Mr. Suresh Prabhu, and unilateralism is hurting global economy. That is there. India's Sherpa to the G7 and G20, Suresh Prabhu has said that the growing tendency among nations to frame inward-looking policies and spurn multilateralism is a recipe for greater disaster for global economy that is already hobbled by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a good article by Vikas Dhoot. And Mr. Prabhu said that it was imperative that Italy, Indonesia and India, which will be assuming the G20 presidency over the next 3 years, impress upon other G20 members the need to revive multilateralism in order to boost prospect of meeting the world's immediate challenges of providing COVID-19 vaccines. And therefore he argues about the global economy is under threat now clearly because of the pandemic, but it was also showing down before that. And denial of multilateralism is also one of the reasons economies slow down more, and therefore India will assume the presidency and host the G20 summit in 2030, while Italy and Indonesia will steer the presidency in 2021 and 22. So this is a good article. And Q2 manufacturing rebounds puzzles economist. Now, as you know, first quarter was very bad for the economy, and now this Q2 figures have rebounded, and therefore the turnaround in India's manufacturing sector, which rebounded from a 39.3 contraction in April to June, and this rebound is a good omen. And India's GDP contracted by only 7.5% from July to September, and therefore we have to be optimistic that once this vaccine is there, everything will be all right. And one important article is the IBM, is the article by Mini Tejasvi, and this is India is the key to IBM's pursuit of a 1 trillion hybrid cloud opportunity. With India accelerating its digital initiative, IBM is striving to put the country on the global innovation map by leveraging the power of technology like the artificial intelligence, cloud, and cognitive computing, says Vishwanath Ramaswamy, Vice President of Cloud and Cognitive Software Services, IBM, South Asia. So as you know, in USA and in Europe, the top IT firms are Indian firms: Infosys, IBM, TCS, Wipro, and therefore, it is a time that this digital push, we were apprehensive about, entering free trade agreements, like, we did not join the RCEP, but we must immediately, join and, agree to a free trade agreement with USA and EU. Because once you have a free trade agreement, of course, they will sell in your market, but our IT services, we will get expansion in their areas, and therefore it is, it is give and take. And Modi ji had such a good rapport with Trump, but nothing came out, no free trade agreement. So the power of the pudding is in eating, and therefore the new administration, Biden administration, is taking power in January, and Modi ji has a huge opportunity with Kamala Harris from her mother was from Tamil Nadu, and Shamla Gopalan, she had gone to USA in 1960s, to do masters and PhD from the Stanford University, and there she met Professor Harris, a black Afro-American professor, with leftist leanings, and then they got married, and these two beautiful children, Kamala Harris and Maya Harris, were born. So now Maya Harris, used to stroll on the Chennai beach with Nana, Nani, whenever she used to come here. And so imagine the kind of this thing. We must immediately invite her, and her first foreign visit should be India. And already we are having strong relations, on bipartisan matters also. Both the parties are of the view that India is a very strategic partner. So we must take advantage of this, and therefore this Q2 manufacturing, rebound puzzles. And then we have, and the environment is there. a new species of gecko found in the Eastern Ghats. So these days, environment issues are very important. With the global warming, there has to be one question on how to save our planet. So, and as I know, as I take the modern classes regarding environment and economy. So, therefore, this is a good opportunity to to take advantage of these issues. And let's see the Indian Express. Now, this is a good article, a killing in the new Middle East. Now, as you know, this by C. Raja Mohan. This is a good article, and whether they want to or not, India, Pakistan and Bangladesh must deal with the changed geopolitical realities in West Asia. And the brazen murder of a top Iranian nuclear scientist outside Tehran last week undermined a familiar political truth in the Middle East. It is not that important if you are right or wrong. What really matters is whether you are weak or strong. And the assassination of this scientist, points to continuing regional and realignment against Tehran, marked by normalization of ties between some key Arab states and Israel. And the geopolitical turbulence in the Middle East has, major consequences for subcontinent, which has, intimate religious, economic, and strategic ties with the region. So this Iran is getting, gradually isolated. Trump administration also, they walked out of this Iranian nuke deal. We don't want, any Iran is supporting, these extremist, jihadi groups, these militant organizations in Lebanon, and therefore, if a bomb in the hand of Iran will destabilize the entire Middle East region. And earlier in the 91 war, what happened? The price of crude oil went high and the whole region was unstable, and India had to pay heavy price. So this peace in the Middle East is very necessary. And for Israel, having Bangladesh and Pakistan, two of the world's largest economic nations, recognize it would be a great ideological and political bonus. So some in the Delhi might rue the loss of a presumed special position in Israel, but an India that proclaims the virtues of engaging all sides in the Middle East can't grudge the same privilege for Israel. So it is time, we are also, let's say we are talking to China when we had a tip off at the border, but we must keep on engaging Pakistan also. And it is never, if you close your doors to talking and talks, it doesn't give. So even if we are talking regularly and we don't concede anything, it is always better. Talk should be on. So the present government of Modi ji should slightly deviate from this. And so this is a good article that we should ask, use our leverage with Bangladesh, and USA could use leverage with Pakistan, and we must all have new set of relations. And this writer is a director Institute of South Asian Studies, National University of Singapore. And so this is a very good article about the changing scenarios in the Middle East. And if you see some of the other articles here, the Bihar elections and behind India's response to OIC. New Delhi has hit back at the Organization of Islamic Cooperation for references to Kashmir and what the larger objectives that India aims to meet by challenging the OIC's resolution and by referring to Pakistan. So this is also a very important thing. As you know, in India, we are such a large nation, and we have all the minorities are happy, all the states, even the center, we have a national minority commission. All the states have any minorities, if they have any legitimate grievances, they can approach, and the human rights commission are there, and 25 crores of Muslims are living peacefully in our country, but only, let's say, 2-3 lakhs in the valley, and these are only 4 or 5 districts of Kashmir Valley, and these separatist tendencies were there. Pakistan stroking the and all these parties prior to our removing the Article 370, they had an interest in keeping the flames of separatists alive. And now we realize that these separatists were getting hawala funds and so many help from across the border. And what is the point in Mehbooba Mufti saying that India and Pakistan should talk? You are the chief minister, you should work there. If you had worked properly, BJP would not have withdrawn your decision. But every time, be it a national conference, all these families, they have earned so much of corruption was there, and they did not allow the flow of benefits to the poor people. And now, since now we are holding elections, and see the large number of people who are participating in the election, and that speaks volumes about our democracy. And therefore these parties, they are themselves to blame. And now of course the government should also they are holding the Jila Parishad elections, but now they must hold the MA's election also, and we must bring the mainstream parties also in the political process. And therefore it is a very important item. And why? Because at the prodding of Pakistan, they have tried to, but we must get to them very clearly. This is OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, has nothing to do with this. And what about if you see the plight of minorities in Pakistan and other, there are no rights practically. It is India, and I was seeing some of the prominent Muslims. They confirmed that the Muslims are having the best time, the most peaceful times of development, in terms of development, in terms of cultural growth. They are having excellent time in India as compared to the even if you go to the Middle East countries, you can't marry a local girl, you can't start a business, and and if you compare with the Western democracies, somebody was praising USA and Europe, that there they have more any Muslim can go to US and start a business, or they are very open. But in the Middle East, they are very conservative, and they treat Indian Muslims and Pakistan Muslims and Bangladeshis as low kind of Muslim, second grade Muslims. So and they don't want to intermarry with Indian Muslims. So that is the situation. And so OIC has nothing to do with this, with our internal affairs and whatever we may do. Kashmir is a clear example. The king at the time of independence, the king had acceded to the Indian Union, and therefore there is no question that of course we have to be careful that at the time of Shimla Agreement we should have sorted out this issue very finally, and then this line of control should have been declared as the international boundary. But that being so let's once again let me go to the previous slides. So as you know that Unacademy is the largest online platform, and for the IAS exams and UPSC exams, it is the best their platform. I can tell you so many excellent teachers are there, and even we successful IAS officers are guiding you, and particularly so many classes are there in English, Hindi and bilingual, and so many practice test series are there, and then you have to answer writing practice is there. So your ability is vastly improved by if you join. For example, we have live class environment, live leaderboard, live doubt solving, live interaction, and then we have this live doubt solving, and personal coach is also there. So these are so, and you see the rates are so reasonable. If you see any IAS institute there, and they charge 1.5 lakhs, 2 lakhs, and for 1 year, and the quality of teachers is very good. And particularly in the COVID season, how do you go? And one should never venture out unless you are with mask, and suppose you go to offline teaching, you are endangering your health. So for this till the COVID period is there, next 6 months it is the best, and therefore kindly take into account this thing. And if you want a huge discount, it is use this VCS 10 code. And IAS is not, it is a 2-3 months preparation. At least one year is needed. Even I taught the joint entrance examination of IIT, and then I did BTech from IIT Delhi, and then MBA I was doing from IIM Ahmedabad, the top management institution in the country. And even then, I got into IAS. I missed IAS by just 1 mark. So first time I got IPS, and then for second time I cracked IAS, and I got the 22nd rank in my home cadre also. So, and this is the best job in the world. The job of the collector and district magistrate in India has got so much of diverse functions and so much of responsibility, and you are the chief of the district, and then later on, so there is no such job in the entire world. And therefore kindly join this, and so kindly use the code VCS10, and the most competitive gamified UPSC civil service exam battle is there, and compete with thousands of learners in India's biggest fortnightly competition for UPSC civil. It starts on December 6th. So use this code, and we have this T20 daily current affairs test series is there, free test series also there. And so let's stop at that, and